first things first, I guess I read the first page of your bio, and you're talking about punk rock. Now, are Nirvana still a punk band?
Well, I like biorhythm machines, and I put my hand in one, and it was a pretty punk readout. It cut my hand.
He said, "Lord, you're so punk."
Well, no, but I mean, does that term still apply to you guys though? Or have you?
So I don't think we've ever been labeled as punk rock in the first place. We just played in the underground circuit. We like punk rock more than any other style of music. So, yeah, we're punk rock.
Well, I think everybody was sort of into punk rock before the band really evolved anyway.
We were a band.
So it's definitely everyone was sort of bred on the punk thing.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you dislike labels, but then where do you see that your music fits in?
In rock and roll.
But isn't it this
Pretty wide.
I think what did they call it before, the sub pop sound?
Oh, the sub pop sound.
That's right.
Yeah.
Grunge.
Grunge.
Seattle.
I can't decide.
Seattle sub pop grunge.
Okay, but see, the sub pop thing wouldn't apply anymore though.
Why not? There's still a label.
You guys aren't on sub pop now.
Well,
We're DGC rock now. We're DGC hardcore.
DGC hardcore.
There, you found the
Right.
And MCA in Europe and Canada.
Right.
We're MCA.
We're
punk.
MCA here too?
We're MCA.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, now again, like I realize you guys dislike the labels, but I mean it's still a case of
No, we love DGC. What, music labels are labels the way people label people of race, creed, or color, national origin. Brother, we're all here on this floating sphere through space.
Okay, but this is a little bit different though, because I think to a certain extent, people that are out there want to know because it helps them decide whether they like it or not, right? I mean, yeah, that's not necessarily a category thing, but it's still like.
We like to say that we're the Black Sabbath molesting the Bay City Rollers, or the Knack, maybe.
Okay, well that was something else.
No one would like us at all.
That would be something else I wanted to ask you guys about. Now, you mentioned the Knack and the Bay City Rollers. Are there aspects of those bands in your music, and where are they?
Fashion-wise, it's Bay City Rollers all the way.
Yeah.
We don't have any plaid on now, but you just wait till we go on.
There's going to be this inverted plaid cross. Just going to be with Ozzy Osbourne with a woody shag cut crucified on it.
Okay, now were you guys fans of those bands? Seriously?
No.
Well, I like that. I was
now.
into. I don't.
I despised the Bay City Rollers when I was 9. I mean, my sister liked them, but I didn't.
I bought the Saturday Night single.
But I like them now. I have all their albums.
You like them now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I guess you guys also talked about how you're a pop band, and yet I wonder how many people would really describe you in that way.
Well, a lot of people do, just because the songs are, they may be really heavy, but they have some sort of melody to them. I mean, they're like poppy songs, but we're not like a pop band, but I don't know.
Papa don't preach.
Papa don't preach.
Pop music.
Pop music.
Yeah.
Okay, now how do you feel though about the crossover into the metal market?
That's fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could, a few of those kids, they could go from worshiping Satan to being studious and alternative. And some of the alternative people could be like smoking pot on their Camaro hoods of their Camaros.
It'll be a
Camaro
trade-off.
hoods. It'll be a trade-off, yeah. It'll be join forces, unite all potheads and bookworms. Come together.
Okay, now
That's our rally cry of our revolution.
Get off that soapbox.
Now, one of the things I was reading though, you were being interviewed in a metal magazine, and one of the members of the band wasn't very happy about that.
Who said that? Who said that?
I didn't do it.
Is that a pubic hair?
I didn't do it.
Ugh. It's curly and crinky. Oh, I don't know. Where did you get that? Who sent you?
What planet are you from?
Are we going to be able to get anything out of this interview?
Oh, we are. We're talking.
This is no front.
This is no front.
Hey man, we ain't fun.
We are. Well, I don't know. A lot of heavy metal is I don't really care for a lot of heavy metal. You know what I mean? A lot of it's just kind of, but I mean, to each their own, right?
Okay, but then I guess the fact that you're then appealing to that market, or you're having the fans of those bands come out to see you guys, that doesn't bother you, or that's something you'd like to happen?
Oh, we'd like for that to happen, sure. People could come in and check our band out, and why not?
Well,
It's not like we're
if
See,
people come and like the music, then that's fine.
I remember-
If they come and think we're a heavy metal band,
I remember one time I went to this show in Olympia, and the Melvins opened for this like heavy metal band, and all the punk rockers and stuff. You know, the metal people just gave the Melvins a bunch of pahooey. And then when the metal band came out, the punk rockers who came for the Melvins, they got into the metal band, but it seemed like the metal people kind of freaked out. They were weird. I don't know what it was. Maybe
That was
something
quite
they
a few
ate.
years ago too.
Yeah. Now there's
Now
crossover.
that Metallica are wearing Misfits T-shirts, I think it's had a big impact on metal.
James Hetfield gave the legions of rockers the okay to like punk rock, so it must be okay now.
Okay. Now, being on a bigger label, are you guys involved? Like, I mean, there must be meetings about marketing and stuff like that. Do you guys have any say about that stuff, or is it just something that you just leave up to the label?
We have final say, but we don't go to the meetings.
Yeah, they're really
So-
boring.
You can imagine, it's like going back to school,
Yeah,
we sit that out.
And those fluorescent lights hurt my eyes.
So how have things changed for you guys now, being on a bigger label?
We get to be on Much Music.
Yeah. You could have been on Much Music before if you
Really?
hadn't shown up for the interview.
We're never late now. We're always
Yeah, there
on
you
time.
go.
We're prompt.
We got watches.
We brought watches. We have tour managers now. We don't get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Because last time we were here, we were like just us three, you know, driving around. We get up whenever we wanted. Hey, man, that's a pretty long drive to Toronto. We better get going. Like, yeah, shut up. And then we're like, show up as if we're ready to go on.
Okay, now you recorded your album with Butch Vig. Now, why did you choose him for the producer?
Because we'd worked with him before, about a year ago. We attempted to record our album with him. It turned out really well, but we were in the middle of doing the sub-pop negotiations, trying to get out of that contract on DGC, so it just seemed like the best thing to do, you know, to work with someone that's familiar with us still.
You had done demos with a few other people, though, as well, hadn't you?
We did the demos. That's what he's talking about
Yeah,
with
those are the
Butch.
demos. That was I
We were-
attempted an album.
we-
No, but I thought there was other producers you guys had did a few demos
We worked with Jack and Dino. That's about it. Nobody
we talked
else.
to other producers, but we never did any demos with them. So
And was there stuff you'd heard by Butch before you'd worked with him that kind of decided it, or?
Yeah, it sounded really good. There was like Laughing Hyenas and Killdozer, pretty crunchy, meaty stuff. And we thought, yeah, we'll try this guy out. So we did the demos, and then nothing came out of that. So we called him again, and he flew down to L.A., and we all flew to L.A. And we drove to L.A. Well, we drove to L.A., and he flew, and we made this record. Took us about a month, and Butch is really hands-on as a producer and engineer. You know, he's just totally in it all the way. So he's so easygoing and stuff too.
Now, the first one was recorded. The first one was recorded fairly quickly. Now, were there certain things you set out to do differently this time around, or?
It was just an entirely different set of circumstances this time around. You know, entirely different set of circumstances. What did we set out to do different? It just
it's a
happened.
different studio
Yeah.
and different producer and
You know what we did?
different
Different state. We just did that whole major label go to Hollywood and record a record thing, but we didn't get stuck with some goofball producer. We got the producer we wanted, you know, and we don't really have any regrets about how it turned out. We think it turned out great and what we did, but I think next time around we're gonna choose a different path because it's such a well-worn path. We're gonna trot off the beaten track.
What's the different path?
Different path. Religion. No, we're gonna record in a church. No, a different path. I don't know. I think we might record the next record as we go along, right? We might record it on a boom box. We might record the record like in an airplane bathroom because of the dynamic acoustics. Just depends, you know. We did our go to Hollywood, just like I said. We did that go to Hollywood trip. Maybe we'll record in somewhere else. Maybe some natural. Oh, we're recording some Greek theater somewhere in Greece, like the Acropolis or something. Whoa.
Okay, now the first one was done more or less as a live thing. So this time around, was it consciously like a studio effort and away from the live sound?
No, I don't think the first album was live. I mean, we recorded it in the studio. You know, we did overdubs.
We did record it like basic tracks.
We did.
were
We
live.
overdubbed all guitar and vocals and yeah, everything.
Oh, I thought it was done pretty much
No.
one shot.
It was done like 4 days, or I don't even forget how many days. Under a week, 3, 4, 5 days, something like that. $600. You know what? When we were mixing it, we were really sick, and Kurt went down to the health department, and he got these codeine cough syrups, and we were just popping those, and we were just like in la la land. And then we were like hands-on producers, just cooking on this codeine joy juice. I think it had a big effect on how that record turned out. That's the honest truth.
Okay, now with the cover of the new record, is there a certain concept you guys are trying to put across with the cover?
It's open for interpretation. You know, think about a baby swimming through water, dollar bill on a hook. You know, that's the fun part of it. Decipher. Maybe a person could find a new way of life. And so we were speaking of paths. They can take off their clothes and bite into a fish hook in water. See how that feels.
Well, I sort of thought it related to the band though, this is sort of your first jump in the water towards the huge bucks and all that.
Right on. Now, see, okay, well, I never thought of that. Well, there you go. That works too. See, it's open for interpretation.
And that's the whole idea? You guys don't like explaining anything to do with your music or to do with what you're doing.
Just like Ricky Ricardo said, "Splain, Lucy, splain." Lucy never did. Ricky.
No, okay. Now, why don't you like talking about it though? What's the problem with going on camera and just relating a little story to do with it?
There's nothing to be said. It's all in the music, man. It's all in the music. It's all in the meat.
You don't think that people that are fans of you would like to hear what you had in mind, maybe, or what you were?
I hear what they have in mind, you know,
Yeah,
or
like
how
what you
they
just said.
interpret
I
it.
mean, that was
You
so
would.
cool.
Yeah,
But-
I'd like to get some letters. This is what my analytical
My
idea is,
personal
what your
critique.
lyrics are about. You know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, man.
You know what we do is we get all drunk and we get in these heavy philosophical conversations. What we are is we're pothead philosophers with no type of studious background or anything. We just...
Okay, so what's your relationship now with Sub Pop? How are things with them?
Well, we get along with those guys. I mean, we stop by and say hi, and that's about it, really. We're pretty much off the label. We're on DGC. DGC does all the work.
No, there was a Sub Pop logo though on the first single or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be on the record too. It's a contractual obligation. Basically, that's it.
Okay. Now, there was a little bit of bad blood at first though, wasn't there, when you guys were leaving?
Yeah, it was. I think a lot of that was lack of communication and assumptions, but now we put all that behind us now and we just get along. There's just no reason to bear a grudge, right? Forgive and forget, huh, brother?
Now, are you gonna come back after a certain period of time and do like a freebie single or anything like Soundgarden did, or?
A freebie single? Just like my Uncle Jim said, nothing in this world is free. But, I don't know, we'll probably do something like that. It's always fun to release things. Maybe we'll just go and release something, you know. Maybe we'll record a record with people on work release. So, see, because if they want to get on work release, you have to have a job guarantee. So they'll get out of jail that way. So we'll just like guarantee them a job and they'll get out of jail.